Hello and thank you for joining me, Joe Unwin, also known as FloJo, on another PowerFX video. Today we are going to be looking at the contains function in PowerFX. But did you know there is no contains function? Unlike Power Automate, there is no contains function. Unlike many languages, there's no contains function. But what there is an in operator. Now what does that mean? Well, on your screen, as you can see, I've put the contains function. But how do we get around there not being a contains function? Well, there's two different ways we can do this. In text, we can use the if function, and then we could say, for example, if, then we pass in the text that we're looking for, that we would traditionally put in the contains. So we would say if Joe, the string of Joe, is in whatever we're looking at. So in this example, I'm saying if Joe is in a label called label name dot text, then provide true. If not, provide false. So what we're doing is we're actually creating an if statement to check if there is a string in something. So we're doing a contains. We're writing the contains ourselves. Okay, so let's go through this again more slowly. If Joe, the string of Joe, is in the text that is in label name, so label name dot text, we will then return with a comma true. If not, we'll do another comma false. So essentially we're saying contains label name dot text comma Joe, and that would normally provide true or false, right? But what we're saying is if Joe is actually in label name dot text, we want to say true, yes, it is there. And if it's not in there, we're going to reply false. So obviously we're going to go through a demo about that. But what happens if you're looking in data then? Like traditionally, like if you would pass in array and you want to check if something is inside of it, how do we do that then? Well, let's say you're doing a data search for a table, for example. You would type filter, you open the parentheses, then you would pass in the table, then you'd do a comma, and then you would do similar to what we've done in the if statement. You would say Joe in and the column you're looking at. So in this instance, I've done filter, and I'm filtering the name table. So I'm passing all of the table data through, and then I'm going to say comma. I'm now looking for the string of Joe in the name column. So then you can use contains. Essentially what we're saying is in the name table, does the name column contain Joe? And then it will provide the actual data, or it won't. So in this instance, let's go through this again more slowly. We've got filter, pass in the table, and then we've got a comma, and then we say the actual in operator statement. We say Joe is in the column name. Okay, so slightly more confusing than just writing contains and you've got your parentheses, right? But essentially what we're doing is we're using an if statement for text-based searches for contains, and then we're using filter for data searches contains. So how does this actually work in a demo then? Let me open up the demo side. So here I've got exactly the same text and data search information over the left hand side, but on the right hand side you can see I've got a label here, and if I open up this you can see it's label name, so it's referencing what we've got here. So in this label name I've just written FloJo as a string, and then in the one below it where it says true, it's actually got this statement. I've got if Joe is in this label name dot text, so the text of this label that I've entered, then return true. If not, return false. Now you can see it's returning true because Joe is in FloJo, so it says true. But what happens if I change this to Jax? We now get false. What if I just change it to Joe itself? We get true. Now the reason why is because, as mentioned previously, we are saying is the thing we're looking for, the thing we're looking to see if it contains, i.e. Joe, is in the thing we're looking in, which is label name.text in this instance. And obviously Joe is written in the label name.text, so Joe is in the label name.text, so it's returning true. If it wasn't, if Joe is not in that actual name, it's false. But let's like change this around then. Let's say Power Apps in this label. So obviously Joe is not in that, but now if we added power into here, it's returning true, because what it's doing, and you can see it's highlighting the thing it's searching in green. It's saying, is power in label name.txt? Obviously there's Power Apps, so power is contained within that. And then it's saying true because it is actually there. And if it's not, then it's false. Now, if you're not familiar with the if function, I've actually created a video on my channel about this. It goes a lot more in depth, but I'll just give you an overview. What it is we do our statement that we're checking, then it returns the true value or the false value. So obviously after the comma, we say true. After the comma, we say false. So it goes statement, true value, false value. Now you don't have to just return true or false. You could say yes, no, whatever you want. But traditionally, we'll just put true and false in this instance. But what this actually allows you to do, especially in Power Apps, now this may be different if you're doing it in Power Virtual Agents or somewhere else in Dataverse and whatnot. But if you're writing a PowerFX function, an if function in here, it will actually highlight what it's targeting. So in this instance, I'm saying if power is in label name.txt, it's highlighting the thing we're targeting in green, and then it's returning true because obviously that's that. So let's move on to data searching then with PowerFX. And obviously I'm showing all of this in Power Apps at the moment, but you could be using PowerFX anywhere. And it may just look slightly different, but the concept of the actual function will remain the same wherever you're using it. So let's have a look at the filter function using the in operator to provide us with a contains on data. Now, when we're doing the actual statements, we're saying Joe in name. So this is our contains. We want to see if in the name table, Joe is contained within the name column. So how the filter works is you pass in the table, and then you've got your check in or whatever you're doing at then the column is the last thing that you pass through. So we've got table, statement in the column. So table, name table, Joe in the name column. But what I've got is I've got two buttons here. So at the moment it says we didn't find any data to show, and I've just got a data table here just showing the stuff. So this actual data table, if I select it, let me just open up the actual data table, you can see I've got the filter on here. So I've got the filter of the name table column, Joe in name column. Okay, so at the moment it doesn't find anything, and that's because I don't actually have a name table. So what I've got is I've got two buttons here, and if I open this up, it might be slightly confusing if you've never used any of these functions before, but I'll just give you a general overview of what I'm doing. So I'm clearing and then collecting the name table. So every time I press one of these buttons, I clear it and then I add data to it. So I've got a name table being created, and I've got two columns. I've got name and website. So in this one, create table with Joe, I've got a name of FlowJoe and a website of FlowJoe. And then I've got a name of Jax, website Microsoft, name of Meg, website Google. This is an example, right? But on the second one here, create table without FlowJoe, I'm doing the exact same thing, but I've just deleted the FlowJoe section. So I've only got Jax and Meg in here. So if I now click on this create table with Joe, what that will do is bring back just the column, just the row, sorry, with the Joe in the name column. Because if you remember, let's just open this up again. What we're actually doing is we're passing in the data table. So even though the create table with Joe has 3 rows, it has FlowJoe, Jax and Meg, what we're doing is we're filtering the data coming out of this table for Joe in name. Now FlowJoe is the only one that has Joe within the name, so it's only returning us that one record. Now if I go and then click on this create table without Joe, Joe doesn't exist anymore, so we're getting no records back. But what happens then if we change this? Let's go through and change this, because obviously this is all preset, and we've now got a table here with Flo, Joe, Jax and Meg. What if we come onto here, select our data table, and rather than looking for Joe, we just search for J? Well, now we're going to get Jax back as well because Jax has a J in it. But you can see here that if what I'm typing is being reflected straight into this data table. So here we're looking for jar, J-A, in the name column, and obviously Jax is the only one with J and A next to it, so it's being returned. So we're saying whatever we are passing through, so we're passing through the name table in the filter function, and then we're doing, okay, the section we're looking at, so in this instance we're going to be looking for a string, the string in name. So this is where we do our contains, right? This is, does the name column contain JA in the name table? If it does, return the data. If it doesn't, return nothing. So if I go back to J, because there's two rows now, two records that have J in it, it's returning that data. And obviously we're saying the name column contains J, so return these rows that exist in the name table. Awesome. Okay, so let's create another one and actually expand our table. So this time we're going to add another one down here, but what we're going to do is we're just going to have Joe on his own. So now if I come into here and I put Joe, it's still saying Flo Joe until I actually generate the new data. So if I hit that, we now have a table with Flo Joe and Joe, and we're searching based on this particular item. If we're actually searching based on this particular one of the name table, looking for Joe in the name column, because there's two records now. Previously we only had one, but now we've got Flo Joe and Joe. It's returning those two rows. So this is how you can do contains and mimic a contains function in PowerFX, simply using the in operator for both text searches as well as data searches. Thank you for joining me for another video, and I look forward to seeing you next time on our PowerFX functions videos.